Now we go to session number 2. A little bit cooler, but still relatively warm. Courtney Force up against her dad, John, and boy, did they put on a show. Whoa. John Force runs his first 3-second pass, a 398 at 323 miles per hour. Courtney right there with a 402, but look at that speed, 329.
Those are numbers we have not seen on a scoreboard, and just to set the record straight, it was 7 miles an hour than the record. But yet, CompuLink statement from Bob Brockmeyer said, due to the angle the sun created, a reflection off the VHT, that's the traction compound on the track, in the left lane, start mile per hour infrared. That resulted in a slight delay in the start of the mile-an-hour clock. It shortened up that distance. He went on to say the ET mile-an-hour stop infrared was not affected. As a result, Courtney's 329.42 miles per hour does not stand, but the ET is correct. Explain, Mike.
Well, they went over this a lot, both Graham Light and Bob Brockmeyer. One of the things they first looked at was the car bouncing of Courtney Force. They thought maybe it was bouncing and cleared the beam, but remember, that beam's about 5 inches up. So even though it was moving up and down, there wasn't any telltale sign that it did clear the beam, but the light coming in and out was possibly a factor. We looked at another angle. This was a telltale one. As we go down the track, you see in the middle of the racetrack, it looks like a mirage, what we see there, that reflective. And then as she gets towards that first mile-an-hour clock, you see it right there. That reflection there determined that the infrared did not activate properly. In other words, it was a little bit late, which shortened that time between that and the finish line clock, which gave her a faster speed than what was actually recorded. As a result, they took it out, and I believe that was the right call to make.
Well, not to be lost in all of that drama is John Force. If you take a look, they're working on that racetrack right now, trying to take away that mirage. That's Bob Brockmeyer. Despite that, though, John Force very fired up about running the first ever 3-second pass for John Force Racing.
I didn't think it was going to make it. I know the drill. It left like I was shot out of a cannon. I said, okay, it'll make 100 feet. But Jimmy was very positive. You know, him and Neff, they'd all talked, and Neff's car went down and ran 07. He couldn't try to run any harder because he had to make sure he got Robert in the show. But, man, and it got out at 100 feet. And then I said, okay, you're talking to me. And then she went about 300, and I thought, okay, starting to rattle. This old heap ain't going to make it, this Ford. Okay? And all of a sudden it went through that. And I thought, well, only thing next is I'm going to catch on fire. But at least I'll get some TV. And then it went through. But when my girl went by in that Traxxas Ford, it was unbelievable.
So unbelievable that 329, as we mentioned, has been stripped. But in the third session, she would come back to the starting line with her father, and it would be Traxxas and Courtney Force going low for the session.
Made a nice run of 406, but that speed 315 miles per hour. Pretty sure the clocks were dead on that time.
So it's John Force with that 398, the top of the heap stat guy.
And it's taken John Force Racing 116 events, 5 years to lower their career best from the 4005 at Virginia by Robert Height to the 398 this weekend. The one thing they have in common, the tune-up, both came from Jimmy Proctor.
That was a long time.
Take a look at the bottom 8. You see Dale Worsham, Chad Head. How about Ron Capps in that 12th spot? Blake Alexander 13th. Paul Lee on the bump with a 7:03 elapsed time.
Just Jeff Aran and Alexis DeJoria not in. They'll have one more opportunity as